Subscribe, hype, like, click the notification bell and turn on all notifications. And donate with a super thanks donation in the comments section below for the unfiltered, unapologetic SeanzViewEnt, your home for WWE news, rumors, and backstage chaos. This is where gossip gets exposed around the clock. Now, here's your host, the brash SeanzViewEnt.
In the last several weeks in WWE, the WWE has released 24 plus people. CM Punk has vanished. Roman Reigns is reportedly being pulled from dates. And somehow, some way, in the middle of all this chaos, TKO's creative team is simultaneously burying 4 of the most valuable performers on the entire roster. Oba Femi, LA Knight, Sami Zayn, and Stephanie Vaquer. 4 names, 4 completely different situations, 4 different identities, 1 catastrophic pattern. Could these superstars, these wrestlers, these guys and gals, could they be on their way out? Could they be released from the WWE? No creative, no turn, no plan. Now, this is for pure speculation and entertainment, but the receipts, guys, you want to talk about receipts? The receipts are everywhere. It is being publicly called out. Oba Femi's booking. LA Knight completely absent with no feud and no direction. Sami Zayn openly fighting. Again, there is a backstage fight. Yes, there's a scramble backstage between Sami Zayn and WWE Creative. The booking backstage with Sami Zayn. You got Stephanie Vaquer wrestling injured for months before anyone even noticed. And now TKO confirms, viewers, and now TKO confirms they are using AI to help write WWE storylines. In this video, ladies and gentlemen, in this very video, we will break down the most urgent creative crisis that the WWE has had in years. And what happens if they don't fix it before it's too late? WWE destroying its own stars, and nobody at TKO seems to care in 2026. That is the big question going in to this very video. WWE is creatively destroying its own roster, ladies and gentlemen, following WrestleMania. You thought that the releases were something? You thought they were over? You thought that they were done? Ladies and gentlemen, we may just be getting started here. I want you to think about something for a second, viewers. I really want you to think about something because remember, nobody is safe. Nobody is being safe from being released. It doesn't matter how much commitment you've had to the company. It doesn't matter how much time you've wrestled. It doesn't matter how much history, how many championships. It doesn't matter how many titles. Nobody is safe from WWE releases. And when you have an Oba Femi with no creative, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to follow up with an Oba Femi. They don't know what to do with an LA Knight. They don't know how to reutilize Sami Zayn. I want you to think about that one for a second. WWE just came off of WrestleMania 42, one of the biggest weekends in the history of the company. Record attendance, record viewership on Netflix, record revenue. The whole world was watching. And the 4 performers I am about to talk to you about today, 4 people who had every reason to be riding the wave of momentum straight into the summer of 2026, are instead sitting in creative quicksand, ignored, directionless, and wasted. And you know what the WWE does when they trim the fat? When the WWE cuts off the fat, they release you, they pink slip you, they get rid of you. One of them retired Brock Lesnar and is now kidnapping enhancement talent to get a match. An open challenge for Oba Femi. Now, again, there was already rumor and gossip. There was already speculation about Oba Femi not being too happy with WWE Creative, not too happy with the direction, the booking of his character following WrestleMania, because you already had that man ride the highest of highs, and now he is riding the lowest of lows in his career. Ladies and gentlemen, one of them openly fought with WWE Creative backstage and lost. And now he is cutting promos about a gingerbread man. And one of them held the Women's World Championship for over 6 months, came back from injury while still banged up, lost her title at WrestleMania, and has been completely forgotten about, while her replacement has no meaningful direction. 4 names, 4 completely different situations, 1 absolutely damning pattern, if you ask the brash and the brazen. And here is the part that should scare every single WWE fan watching this right here. TKO's own president confirmed at a company town hall meeting that the WWE is not above, that the WWE, you could be gone just like that. Right at the snap of the fingers, you could be released from the company. And with AI now at charge, at the helm, writing WWE stories while 4 of the most valuable performers on the roster are drowning, we need to talk about this right here and right now. Because, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, whether you're for these guys or against them, whether you're a fan of them or not, the clock is absolutely ticking. And is it ticking on their careers? Because this is the tabloid WWE news, rumors, speculation, and gossip presentation. But ladies and gentlemen, I need to set the table for you. Because TKO President Mark Shapiro confirmed at an internal town meeting that WWE is actively using artificial intelligence to help develop creative storylines. Again, let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, really, let that sink in for one moment. And then you look at what those AI-assisted storylines have produced. A man killing a gingerbread man, an open challenge that nobody answers. For Oba Femi, a former women's world champion written off television with a backstage attack and not seen again for weeks. A generational talent who retired Brock Lesnar doing squash matches with no payoff. If this is what artificial intelligence brings to professional wrestling, then someone needs to pull the plug on the machine. And right now, I'm being serious. Because of what AI cannot do, what no algorithm could ever replace, is to understand why a crowd loses its mind when LA Knight raises his microphone. It cannot feel the electricity in a building when Oba Femi walks through the curtain. It cannot write that kind of promo Sami Zayn delivers when you actually let him be himself. And it cannot capture the story of a woman who held a title while fighting through injuries and fighting through personal trauma simultaneously. Those are human stories. And right now, TKO is trying to tell them with an AI generation. So let's start with the most urgent creative crisis on the roster right now, in my estimation. The man who retired Brock Lesnar has been left with absolutely nothing to show for it. Oba Femi walked into WrestleMania 42 and squashed Brock Lesnar in under 5 minutes. Brock Lesnar, 23-time world champion, the most physically dominant performer in WWE history. A man who made legends look small, gone in under 5 minutes because Oba Femi was just that much of a monster. And the wrestling world lost its mind, rightfully. That was the kind of statement-making moments that should have launched a career into the stratosphere. So what did WWE do next? They put him in an open challenge every single week against nobodies. And then last Monday on Raw, Adam Pearce came out and told the audience that not one person on the WWE roster was willing to step up to face Oba Femi. Do you understand how embarrassing that looks? Do you understand how bad that looks? The challenge was canceled just like that. Canceled. So Femi took it upon himself to go to the back, grab the Lost Geyser, 3 guys who had not volunteered for this, and drag them to the ring by force. Then that's what we got. Now, here is what makes this inexcusable. It is not just the fans saying this. It is not just the internet commentary. It is legends. Bully Ray himself has publicly pointed out multiple issues with Oba Femi's booking since WrestleMania. When 2 Hall of Famers are sounding the alarm publicly, that is not gossip. That is an emergency, ladies and gentlemen. Again, there is a big question mark right now, according to those in the know, the dirt sheets, the websites, the newsletters. There is a big question mark on whether or not these 4 stars will be released from WWE because there is nothing creatively for them. These are not fringe takes. This is the mainstream wrestling conversation right now. Bleacher Report put it plainly this week. Femi should win the King of the Ring, get the World Heavyweight Championship picture, get into it, and headline SummerSlam. That is the obvious answer. That is the roadmap that writes itself. And instead, nobody will answer his open challenge. But as bad as the Oba Femi situation is, there is one name on this list that when the waste is even more inexcusable. When this person is not just being misused, they are being completely, totally ignored. And the crowd reaction proves it every single time he appears. L.A. Knight is one of the most naturally over performers in all of professional wrestling today. And I need you to understand what that means, because in an era where WWE is using AI to write storylines and celebrities to main event WrestleMania, LA Knight gets over organically, without a push, without a title, without a major program. He walks out. The crowd explodes. He raises the mic. They chant. He says 2 words. They finish his sentences. But I think AI forgot to write in LA Knight over the last several weeks, because where has LA Knight been? Certainly not on Raw, not on SmackDown, hell, not even on NXT. And LA Knight sure as hell ain't on NXT, because there has, ladies and gentlemen, he ain't on NXT, he ain't on SmackDown, he ain't on Raw. How do you not have anything creative for an LA Knight, who the fans want to see pushed, who the fans want to see LA Knight become a world champion? Whether or not that happens remains to be seen. However, the fact of the matter is, how do you not utilize an LA Knight? And then no Raw this past Monday. Again, May the 11th. LA Knight was not on the show at all. Not there. No appearances. No explanation. He was just absent, guys. Just absent. This is not a man who was injured. This is not a man who asked for time off. This is a man being left on the shelf, being backtracked, while one of the most valuable things in the WWE, authentic crowd connection, is slowly fading from lack of use. Now, is this the WWE's way to make us fans forget about him? So he's meaningless? So he's on the back burner? So he's benched? Crowds don't wait forever in the WWE. That's the thing. They move on. They find someone else new to invest in, someone else to cheer. And if WWE keeps leaving LA Knight standing in the hallway, eventually the hallway gets very quiet. It gets very dark. Now, LA Knight is being ignored from the outside. But the Sami Zayn situation, that one is being destroyed from the inside, because Sami Zayn himself has been fighting to protect his character, and creative has been fighting him backstage. Could you see how this could release? This could lead to releases. It very well could be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You want to talk about releases. You want to talk about, guesswork. And I don't even want to guess. I don't even want to elaborate on who could be released next, because according to those in the know, the releases are not done. The releases, they are not over. Multiple members of the WWE creative described the plans for Sami Zayn and Trick Williams, quote, hokey and archaic, meaning even if the people writing these ideas knew they weren't good enough, and Sami, to his credit, refused to go along with it. The result, a Gingerbread Man funeral. Let me say that again. The performers who is living the character every single week and does not even know what the character he is supposed to be playing. Sami acknowledged publicly this week as there were, quote, strange vibes surrounding WrestleMania this year. You think? And then there is Stephanie Vaquer. Again, all these names have a question mark right now. All these names are not set in stone to be in the WWE forever. As they say, nothing lasts forever, okay? So I know that people are going to come on the video and say, oh, this is fake, even though I got a question mark at the end of the sentence. Again, could this happen? Would this happen? This is the WWE we're talking about. Again, anybody can be released at any time, especially when the releases are not done yet. Ladies and gentlemen, Vaquer loses the belt at WrestleMania. The belt goes somewhere with no direction. Vaquer disappears with injuries sustained while being a company soldier. And nobody at TKO is publicly acknowledging any of it. The good news, if there's any good to news, is that, well, there is no good news, guys. I was waiting for something good. I was waiting for something positive. I was waiting for something uplifting. But here is the bottom line, and I want you to really hear this. Remember to click the bell, subscribe, donate below with a super thanks donation. When the WWE releases over 24 people, they are using AI to write storylines. CM Punk vanished. Roman Reigns is being pulled from dates. 3 current roster members are reportedly considering asking for their release. Netflix viewership is trending down year over year. Fan sentiment is at its lowest point since TKO took over. And in the middle, viewers, and in the middle of all of that, 4 of the most valuable and marketable performers on the entire roster are being wasted. Oba Femi needs a King of the Ring and a SummerSlam World title match more than ever. The roadmap is right there. LA Knight needs a real singles feud against someone who can match his intensity on the mic. The audience is literally begging for it every single week, but yet you don't feature. You don't put LA Knight on the card. Sami Zayn needs to be trusted to tell his own story. He has earned the right 10 times over. And while Stephanie Vaquer, ladies and gentlemen, needs to come back with a purpose, a target, a rival, a reason, not just a return pop followed by more silence. These are not complicated fixes. These are revolutionary creative ideas. Again, not creative ideas, okay? These are the most obvious next steps for 4 people who have already done the hard work of getting over. But here is what worries me. If TKO is running creative decisions through an AI algorithm, if the writers in that room are describing their own ideas as hokey, and still pushing them forward, if Hall of Famers are going on podcasts to warn WWE publicly that they are mismanaging their best assets, then who exactly in that building is making sure that these 4 performers don't get released from the WWE? Because right now, it doesn't feel like they're going to have a chance in hell. All opinion, all speculation, all entertainment, connecting the dots on the stories that matter here at Sean View Entertainment. Who is going to be on the chopping block next? Clash in Italy is 3 weeks away. SummerSlam is coming. It is looming. The window to fix this is not infinite. Plenty more to come. Subscribe, because if it weren't for you, there would be no Sean View. Later.